Save the date. Something big is happening here. Use the hashtag Ghouls for Good. Friday, October 23rd, right? It is a tribute to the Night of the Living Dead. It is a live read. It's going to be scenes from the original movies and stars from the movies, right? There's going to be more announcements coming soon. I'm going to let you know a couple of people who are going to be involved in this thing. But before I do that, you could be involved in this. Send us you doing zombie stuff, right? It could be you just walking down the street, walking in the cemetery. You could use some Legos. You could draw, do a little stop motion thing. We're going to put you, the viewing audience, making your own homemade zombie stuff. We're going to work it into the live read with the stars from the film. So we've got actor, stunt woman, producer, Patricia Tallman. She was in the 90s version of The Night of the Living Dead, the Tom Savini version. We've got Russ Streiner, okay? Actor and chairman of the board of the Pittsburgh Film Office Board of Directors, who played Johnny in the original version. And we've got Lori Cardill herself, okay? Star of Day of the Dead. And she's going to contribute to the reading. She's going to talk, and she's obviously going to tell some stories about her legendary father, Chili Billy. It's all going to be there, okay? You want more? We have more stars confirmed. William Butler, self-professed horror nerd. We say the Titan of horror. Writer, director, effects coordinator, and actor. No one died more on screen than William Butler. He died for your scenes. He was in Friday the 13th, The New Blood, Leatherface, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and the 1990 version of Night of the Living Dead. He's going to be there to relive it. Oh, you want more? The duo with Pittsburgh DNA running through their veins, their undead veins. Zombie. I love Zombie. They're going to be providing brand new unreleased tracks for the Ghouls for Good tribute. Oh, you want one more? Horror legend and star of the 1990 Night of the Living Dead, directed by Savini. Okay, this is big. You don't need me to say it. Tony Todd is going to be on the reading here. If you don't know who Tony Todd, that's the Candyman. You look in the mirror, you say it 3 times. Tony friggin' Todd is going to be here. You will get to see these amazing artists perform the source material. You'll get to meet the artists. You can ask questions. Do not miss this event and help us spread the word. And we are doing all this to raise money for PA Democrats and the Biden-Harris campaign. Get out there, tell your friends, it's Halloween season, man. You're probably not going to go trick-or-treating. You can't knock on doors, right? What you can do, you can dress your kids up, make them zombies. Pete did it. Be a ghoul for good. We will see you there on Friday. What's going on, everybody? How's it going? I'm Patrick Jordan. The show has not started yet. I'm just giving you a little bit of a taste. We got a little bit of a pre-show for you, a little warm-up show, something special happening. You saw who's going to be on the show tonight. You saw what's going to happen. We're going to read a couple scenes. We're going to have some panel discussions. It's going to be fun, a lot of interactive stuff. But before we get to that, a little side treat. We've got Robert here. Robert, special effects guru, is in the house here. He is going to do a little presentation for us. Robert, are you with me? All right. What's happening, buddy? You're live. It's okay. You can walk on camera. How's it going, man? Okay.
Great. Super excited.
All right. So tell me what you're about to do here, and I'm just going to let you go to it. We're going to play a little bit of music, and we're going to have you checking in with you periodically over the night. What's happening?
Cool. We're going to do I'm going to try to stay kind of classic, like Day of the Dead meets Night of the Living Dead, 1990 zombie makeup. A little prosthetic I made here earlier in the day. I'm going to put it on my son Draven here.
Okay.
And I'm going to have a full-blown zombie before the night's over.
All right. Well, get to it right now, man. We'll be checking in with you periodically.
All right. Take care.
All right, everybody. Stick around. Keep watching. We're going to check in on this as the night progresses and have fun. All right. So we'll be back here. 8 o'clock is the go time, folks. This is like the pre-show. It's like if we had a red carpet, this would be it. People would be arriving. But since everyone's stuck at home anyway, this is what you get. Have fun, everybody. We'll see you at 8 o'clock.
So what's going on now? No, I mean, what's going on? Can you pull down on my eyelid a little bit?
Hey, everybody, what's going on? While they're working on this, I want to give you guys a little reminder here. You can hit up the Act Blue link that we have going on in the sidebar in the comments, and it's tickering below the screen here because at the end of the day, this whole reunion show is to raise some funds for PA Democrats in the Biden-Harris 2020 campaign. So if you can get on that right now, that's going to be happening. But while we're going to leave these guys here to work for a little bit, I want to show you guys something. We had Table Magazine, a good friend and collaborator on our show, has what's going on, Johnny Death from the UK? What time is it there, Johnny Death? Fellow ghouls, what's happening, Mistress of the Crow? Where are you chiming in from? All right, feels Donna. Thank you for donating. That's right, Donna jumped on this early. Fantastic. And JJ's here with a Sprite Claw with a mix of lime and some other stuff. That's awesome. But so speaking of people with cocktails, Table Magazine came up with a cocktail for us on the show. So you might have the ingredients for this cocktail. And Sean Enright, a frequent guest on Alone Together Pittsburgh, gave us a little demonstration. Want to throw that to you guys right now to check on that. Whenever we're ready, whenever we get that ready in the can, we'll do that. It's exciting. Avery,
Hey folks, happy Halloween. We are doing a cocktail for you. This is in this month's Table Magazine. Featured cocktail for tonight's Alone Together in Pittsburgh. This is called They're Coming For You, Barbara. Very simple cocktail to make at home. We're going to use Boyd & Blair vodka, and we have King Fly's Nocino, but if you can't find King Fly's Nocino, you can use another coffee liqueur, but this is the sponsor for this evening is King Fly and Table Magazine. So it's a real easy cocktail. We're going to start off with our brandy snifter, put a little bit of ice in there. We're going to do 1.5 ounces of Boyd & Blair vodka, made here in Glenshaw, PA. Just pour that right in. Doing 3/4 ounce of our King Fly Nocino. And again, if you can't find this, there are a lot of great coffee liqueurs out there. But this King Fly is also Strip District here in Pittsburgh, PA, distiller. We're going to pour that right in. And then we're going to do 1 ounce of our cream. And we're measuring everything. Pour that right over the top. And I'm going to give it a little stir. You don't have to do this though. You can make this however you want at home. Give it a little bit of a stir. Garnish that with something creepy, spider, eyeballs, whatever, and that is your cocktail for tonight. Alone Together Pittsburgh, Night of the Living Dead. Cheers to you guys. Have a great read.
All right, all right. All right, folks. Like I was saying, we're getting started any minute now, but now is a perfect time for you to start hitting the donate button. Go to actblue.com/donate/ghouls4good. We'll be keeping track of the money we're raising throughout the night. Remember, it's for a great cause. It is for the Biden-Harris campaign and money going to the PA Democrats, okay? So get on that right now. We're going to start this show, and we will see you on the other side of the credits. All right, we're off to a good start, folks. We're off to a good start. Our thermometer is starting to get hot. All right, we got to get to the top, though. We're in the bottom third here right now. So get there. And you know what you could also do is tell your friends, share that. It's ghoulsforgood.com. You can use the hashtag, get it going. Tell your friends it is about to be a good time. And thank you to everybody who in the chat room right now that's saying they already donated. Deborah Grant, thank you. Everybody else who's coming in here, thank you so much for what you're doing. Does anyone know? All right, cool. This is cool. All right, so keep the chats coming. We'll try to answer as many questions as you have coming in, but keep on donating. We're going to try to watch that thing. We're going to try to smash that goal and try to make more. So get going. Tell your friends. Let's get this thing started. What's up, everybody? How are you? I'm Patrick Jordan. I am the host of Alone Together Pittsburgh, which is usually what's playing right now. But every now and then, something comes up, be it a cause, be it an event, something comes up that's bigger than our show, and we cannot pass up the opportunity. So tonight, Alone Together Pittsburgh, which is basically a pandemic talk show out of Pittsburgh, is going to the next level. We are doing this. We are doing a takeover. Ghouls for Good. All right. The Night of the Living Dead tribute show to raise money for Biden-Harris 2020 and for the PA Democrats. Okay. Now, why do you think we're doing Ghouls for Good? It's one thing here is if you see Night of the Living Dead, they don't call them zombies. They call them ghouls. And that's our branding thing. Ghouls for Good. But anyway, you don't want to hear me talking about this all night. It's going to be a great show. We've got a lot of people lined up. Okay. But first, I want to bring out someone who brought this opportunity to us. Randy Kovitz is here with us tonight.
Hey, everybody. Nice to be here. Thanks for having us.
We'll be here in a sec. But while we're waiting for Randy, I'm just going to let you guys know that if you guys can donate now to the Act Blue, go to actblue.com, donate/Ghouls for Good. The money goes directly to the Biden-Harris campaign and PA Democrats. We're trying to crash a $2,000 goal, but I think we can pass that. We're about a third of the way there right now. So we are on our way. I want to say hello to everybody in the chat room, but here is Randy Kovitz right now. What's up, my friend?
Hey, Patrick, thank you so much for giving us your show. I mean, it's not every day you can do that.
I can't think of a better reason and a better group of people. I'm really excited. I'm kind of geeking out about this right now. I'm very excited for what's coming up here. But I mean, I want to thank you for bringing this up. Now, how did this idea come up? Where did you get the idea for this?
Well, an old friend of mine named Margy Whitmer, who I have known since, well, a long time. And Margy was a producer at WQED, did lots of different things, including, of course, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood.
Of course.
And she called me and said, you know, they did this great read through of Princess Bride for Wisconsin Democrats, and I think we could do it here, and I have an idea to do Night of the Living Dead. And I said, well, you know, I worked with George, and I know some people, George Romero, and I know some people who might be interested, and I'll do my best to try. And everybody said yes. Pretty much everybody said yes. So that was 3 weeks ago, and you guys and Margy and me have all been just like going crazy trying to put together people and videos and write the script and do all this other stuff. And now we're here, and I couldn't be happier.
I mean, we're normally so Pittsburgh centric, and there's no film that's more Pittsburgh centric than Night of the Living Dead. I mean, it's you know, if there was a Mount Rushmore here, it'd be on it. But yeah, so you worked on a couple of George Romero's movies, right?
I did. Right out of school, I went to Carnegie Mellon School of Drama, and right out of that, I auditioned for Dawn of the Dead and wound up getting a role in that. It was the first time I was ever on camera. It's quite exciting. There I am. So
there you are. All right.
Well,
Look
that's
at you.
not the role I was cast in, actually. I was cast as this goofy cop at the police dock. That's the guy, the cross-eyed cop. I had way too much sugar and caffeine that night. And go ahead, Patrick.
No, that was your first gig out of school, and you land right into the big one, right into the big leagues.
You know, it's how many 40, 50 years later, whatever, 40 years later, and it's the gift that keeps on giving. I mean, it's just such an amazing worldwide phenomenon to be a part of. It's been a real great thing.
But one last thing before I start bringing out the guests and everything. So you were in the movie twice?
Yes, I was actually, when I got done with the movie, Tom Savini, who we hope to see here in a little while, who was also at Carnegie Mellon before the movie went, he put me on the makeup crew. So I was slapping pancake onto zombies. And I was in a theater company. I'd grown a beard, and I showed up on the set one night dressed as a biker when they were doing the biker stuff, and George didn't recognize me. And finally he did, and he said, "Hey, Randy, you want to work tonight?" And I said, "Okay." And I wound up breaking bottles over zombies' heads, getting shot at. I shot a crossbow into a zombie's face, which was an amazing magic trick Tom did, but that got cut from the movie. So it was an amazing experience for a 21-year-old kid to be a part of such an amazing thing.
I call that living the dream right there, man.
Yeah.
But before we start bringing out the guests, I want to tell everybody at home a little bit about the band that provided the soundtrack for the show tonight. All right. So the amazing soundtrack that you heard at the beginning, you're going to be hearing periodically throughout the night, is provided by Zombie. Okay, a progressive synth-driven soundtrack masters. They also have Pittsburgh DNA flowing through their veins. Okay, now Evan City is the title of the original album that they recorded for our show tonight, and you can check it out on their Bandcamp. Go to zombie.bandcamp.com/album/Evan City. The comment, you can check in the comment section to get to it. So if you want to hear that whole album, check out Zombie. They are phenomenal. But all right, I think the time is ready. We've got people coming in from the UK. We've got people from all over the world here right now watching the show. And before we get started, remember, we're doing this to raise money for Biden-Harris 2020 and the PA Democrats. So smash this Act Blue button. Do whatever you can. Kick in. If you've already kicked in, thank you, and kick in a little more. But Randy, I'm going to give this over to you, my friend.
Okay, I'm going to introduce pretty much all of our guests at once here before they come on screen. So wish me luck, because they are a prolific group of people with amazing credits, incredible lives, and we're so lucky to have them. I'm really happy to first introduce Laurie Cardille. She starred in the third movie of George's zombie trilogy, Day of the Dead. She has had a long career as an actress, including roles on Broadway, TV, film, soap operas, commercials, and she just recorded the audiobook of George's posthumous novel, The Living Dead. I'm very fortunate to have called Laurie my friend since our days together at CMU. And she and her husband, Jim Rogal, were producers on Lightweight, an award-winning short film, little plug for me, that I wrote with my wife, Deborah Hosking, which starred their daughter, Kate Rogal. And if that's not enough, their son, Jake Rogal, just won an Emmy for The Last Dance, the documentary about Michael Jordan's last season. They're a very talented family. Perhaps most significantly for tonight's proceedings, Lori is the daughter of the late, great Bill Chilly Billy Cardill, a giant in the Pittsburgh broadcast industry who for many decades hosted Chiller Theater and was both, a great friend to George Romero and a champion of his career. Bill appeared in both the original and the remake of Night of the Living Dead, and tonight, Lori will be stepping into his role and helping us remember Bill and the great friendship he had with George. So thanks for being here. Welcome, Lori. We'll see you in just a second. Next up is Billy Butler, an amazing human being who from 1982 to 1994 died on screen more than just about anybody. He believes this is because he was just the kind of face you want to hit with a butcher knife. And Friday the 13th, The New Blood, he was shish kebabbed with a camping tent spike, bleeding out, hanging upside down after Leatherface sawed him down in the middle of Leatherface, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And of course, he provided a delicious barbecue buffet consisting of his body in Night of the Living Dead 1990. And these are just a few of the devious ways he's met his maker. The bottom line is Billy Butler dies real good. But before he was acting in front of the camera, Butler was a longtime effects coordinator for the legendary home video label Empire Pictures, where he worked on dozens of sci-fi and horror films for the master of the genre, Charles Band, including Troll, Spellcaster, Dolls from Beyond, The Caller, Arena, Cellar Dweller, Ghoulies, Ghoulies 2, and many of which were filmed at the expansive Empire Studios in Rome, Italy. Other films and TV series Butler worked in the FX department in were Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Evil Dead, Army of Darkness, and John Carpenter's Village of the Damned. He eventually became a writer-director for films like Madhouse, starring Lance Henriksen and Natasha Lyonne, Demonic Toys 2, and Furnace, among many others. When he is not getting shanked on screen or directing things that go bump in the night, Billy also directs for the Disney Channel, directs TV commercials, has written for National Lampoon, and he has several comedy pilots in development. And for his latest project, he wrote and produced a comedy series for Amazon called Barbie and Kendra, and the new episode drops on November 6th. He'll tell us about that, I hope. And we're not done. His tell-all book comes out on May 15th. Tawdry Tales and Confessions from Horror's Boy Next Door. And it follows his journey from FX artist to actor and writer and director. And maybe we can get some dirt on that too.
Well, I want to ask him some questions about that.
Oh, yeah. He has had quite a journey, and we are so glad that it has brought him here tonight. Welcome, Billy. And third, I'm so excited to welcome Patricia Tallman. Her book, Pleasure Thresholds, Patricia Tallman's Babylon 5 Memoirs, is her newest project. But she's had an amazing time, too. By age 15, Patricia Tallman, our next guest, was performing in summer stock at the Red Barn Theater in Saugatuck, Michigan, doing 10 shows in 11 weeks. She spent all of her high school vacations in professional summer stock and continued her training at Carnegie Mellon School of Drama, good school, where she won an award for outstanding achievement in acting. As an actor, Patricia may be best known for work in the 1990 version of Night of the Living Dead as Barbara, the beleaguered heroine, but some may argue that she's best known for her role as Lita Alexandra, I hope I said that right, in the Hugo Award-winning series Babylon 5. Either way, she has been swept into a career that features horror and science fiction projects, and she is less recognizable but no less memorable as the horror hag in Evil Dead 2 Army of Darkness. On the boards, Pat was featured in the Los Angeles Sci-Fi Festival of Plays, and Pittsburgh audiences may remember her 2006 performance in The Human Chair for Quantum Theater. Now, as a stunt performer, Pat's credits include Star Trek, Speed, Naked Gun, Addams Family Values, Jurassic Park, where she doubled Laura Dern, and Long Kiss Goodbye, where she doubled Gina Davis in an incredible cliff fall. Fans make a game of spotting her in the over 50 appearances in the Star Trek franchise, the new Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, and Voyager, as well as the feature film Generations. And as I said, she's also an author, and her book is something that I hope we can talk about. You can also join Patricia online at b5events.com, her newest venture, during this time of pandemic. She also has a really interesting venture called Quest Retreats that I'm hoping that we can talk about. And full disclosure, Pat and I were also at CMU together, where instead of waiting tables, she worked her way through college performing in 18 musicals at the Pittsburgh Civic Light Opera in 4 years. That's a lot of work. She is more than a quadruple threat. She is infinitely energetic and talented, and I don't know where or when she ever sleeps. I don't know. She probably sleeps at home, but I don't know when. But we are thrilled to have her with us, awake and remote from Los Angeles. So welcome, Patricia Tallman. And later in the evening, we expect to have a visit from the Candyman himself, Tony Todd. A few of Tony's numerous credits include playing Sergeant Warren in Platoon in 1986, Kern in Star Trek The Next Generation, and Star Trek Deep Space Nine, Ben in Night of the Living Dead, of course, the titular character in the Candyman horror franchise, of course, William Bloodworth in the Final Destination franchise, Dan in The Man from Earth, and as the voice of the Fallen in Transformers Revenge of the Fallen 2009. He has acted on and off Broadway, and many of his roles are August Wilson's King Hedley II. Among his many roles are August Wilson's King Henry II, Athol Fugard's The Captain's Tiger, for which he received the Helen Hayes nomination. Others include No Place to Be Somebody, Les Blancs, Playboys of the West Indies, Othello, Zuman and the Sign, and the award-winning playwright Keith Glover's Dark Paradise, and Aida on Broadway. Tony also pours a mean beer. I know this from personal experience when he was a bartender at the West Bank Cafe Theater Bar in New York, a place I worked and hung out, and where comedian Louis Black, one of the guys who ran the place, got his start. So an amazing group of people. Welcome, Tony. We also are very lucky to have Russ Streiner. It's such a pleasure to introduce one of the producers of both the 68 and 90 versions of Night of the Living Dead. Russ was partners with George Romero and John Russo at The Latent Image, the production company that was behind the film. Russ also played Johnny in the 1968 version and stepped in as the sheriff in the remake. He has also produced There's Always Vanilla, The Booby Hatch. Russell, and he's been actively involved in bringing film and television productions to Western Pennsylvania throughout his career, and currently serves as chairman on the board of directors of the Pittsburgh Film Office. He's still a partner in Image 10 Productions, who own the rights to the original film and gave us permission to use the name and helped us promote the event, for which we are really grateful. Welcome, Russ. And last, but certainly not least, our last guest will be the only and the one Tom Savini. Tom is the dean, or perhaps the pope of special effects, makeup, and horror. He worked on numerous films directed by George Romero, including Martin, Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead, Creepshow, Monkey Shines. He also created the special effects and makeup for many cult classics like Friday the 13th, Parts 1 and 4, Maniac, The Burning, The Prowler, and the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. Savini directed Night of the Living Dead, of course, the 90 remake of Romero's 68 version. His other directing work includes 3 episodes of the TV show Tales from the Dark Side and 1 segment of The Theater Bazaar. And recently, he recently directed... Oh, we'll ask him when he gets here. He's been very busy. As an actor and stuntman, he has appeared in such films as Martin, Dawn of the Dead, Night Riders, From Dusk Till Dawn, Planet Terror, Machete, Django Unchained, and Machete Kills. Wow, I am out of my mind. So I mean, can you imagine all this energy, all this talent coming to hang out with us? We are so lucky. You're not. I think you're.
That's okay. They're all here for the same reason too. You know what I mean? And that's what we can all get in on right now and hit this Act Blue button, kick in a couple of bucks right now, and I think we'll be bringing that up later on tonight. I think it's time to
I
bring
think
out
we should
some
bring
folks,
them out.
Randy. What do you
Everybody
think?
who's here anyway. We have some people who will be here in a little while, but yes, let's welcome them. Thank you.
It might take a second to have everybody to come in all at once.
Oh,
There's
there's
so
Lori
much star
Cardill
power.
and Russ Streiner and Billy Butler.
Howdy. Howdy, everybody.
Oh, thank you for being here.
Oh, gosh, it's great. Great cause.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well,
That
thank
was
you
really
guys.
Cool.
Oh, it's cool. I wasn't. I mean, I thought I read up on everybody, and then Randy dropped some extra bombs on me about everyone's careers here. I'm in awe. I'm so grateful you guys are here with us tonight.
I hit the books on all our guests before they came.
Yeah, you sure did. You sure did.
Well, you
Thank
did
you.
so good.
Yeah, you made us feel important.
Tallman, Patricia Tallman, thank you for being here.
Hey, everybody.
All the way from the West Coast.
Yeah. Hi, Lori. Oh,
Oh my God.
look at your hair. I love
I
it.
know it's white.
And long. I love it. It's great.
Look beautiful.
So you guys, thank you so much for being here. What a great thing. I don't know if it's a great idea, but what a great event to bring people from both of the productions together. We're so pleased, and we hope to get to talk about some of the differences between and similarities between the two shows. But in the meantime, Patty, this is the Quest thing still happening? That's an amazing idea.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. I mean, obviously we're on hold during COVID, and once we have a safe way to travel again, I'm on it. I've got plans for a Botswana trip, back to New Zealand, and a Scotland trip will be next.
And you
so when that happens, but meanwhile, I'm just doing online events for.
And these are not just vacations. These are kind of immersive experiences, aren't they?
Yeah. The whole thing is about nerds like me who, when we go to New Zealand, we want to go on the whole Lord of the Rings trip. I mean, it's all Lord of the Rings all the time, all the way. And the great thing about that is that, all the scenes in Lord of the Rings were shot in the most beautiful places in their country. So it's a great way to go see New Zealand. And we just stay immersed in the lore of Lord of the Rings.
That sounds fantastic. Speaking of nerds, Billy.
Yes. Can I help you?
You have this book coming out, and
yes, Randy.
It sounds amazing. You kind of dish on a lot of people and talk about your journey. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think I am indeed the luckiest horror nerd on the planet. I grew up with John Bullich, who actually did the zombies in the remake of Night of the Living Dead, and we both moved to Los Angeles at the same time. And I was just one of those lucky people that kind of jumped from lily pad to lily pad, from department to department by trial and error. And along the way was lucky enough to go around the world 2 or 3 times, work with amazing people, many of which are here right now. Work for my idol, Tom Savini. That's absolutely true. And just along the way, just met everybody, worked with everybody, slept with everybody,
Hey.
It's a good book. It's a good read. It's a page turner.
Can't wait to read it. And
Yeah.
later we want to hear about your new TV show, but we want to save a few things for
Yes.
You didn't
That's my
sleep
book.
with me. What
Sorry?
happened?
Well, you didn't ask.
You didn't sleep with me.
Me neither.
I was
Russ?
intimidated. Well, I wouldn't, Russ. I
Not
wouldn't.
me.
I was intimidated by all of you. I could barely walk across the set. I was terrified the whole time we worked on the.
And Russ, welcome. It's so great to have you here.
It's great to be here, and for what a great cause.
Well, we need to do something, and we're so sometimes we all feel helpless here. Everybody can write postcards and all kinds of things, but if we raise enough money and we can get a few more people to the polls or get a few more ads on TV, maybe we can, decisively win this thing. So,
Well, let's hope so. And in addition to helping with a few dollar donation, the absolute most important ingredient of November 3rd is absolutely make sure you vote.
absolutely.
Correct.
We do have we have the information that we're hoping to get up on screen about how to vote by mail, and also the numbers in Pennsylvania that you can call in order to get information on voting. So, Lori, thank you so much for being here. It's always great to see you. You're such a dear friend of mine, and I really appreciate you helping, and also to honor your wonderful father here.
Oh, Randy, that was so nice. All the things you said. I got tears in my eyes because I'm so close to my father and miss him deeply and so much. Oh, God. Anyway, but you know, it's such a great cause, and I'm so happy to be reading my dad's part. And if anybody follows me on Twitter, you all know that I am totally obsessed with the politics in America. And so this is quite an honor to be here. You know, yeah, go ahead, look at my Twitter. I got kicked off a couple times too. So
Good for you, girl.
thank you.
Yeah, you means you're doing it right.
Yeah.
Exactly right.
What's your Twitter handle?
It's just Lori Cardill.
Nice and easy. All right,
Yeah.
get on the Twitter, everybody.
So Patrick, I think it might be time to check back in with the makeup in progress while we get ready to read the opening scene from the 1968 version of Night of the Living Dead with the original Johnny and with Lori Cardill stepping into the role of Barbara. So can we do that?
Yeah, sure. Let's just check in on how things are going with the makeup right now. Robert, who came through the Savini school, it's coming in 1 second. But while we're waiting for that, now is a perfect opportunity to donate to click on the thing and donate to Act Blue. Just go to actblue.com/donate/ghouls for good. Do that if you already did. I know Donna just said she felt so nice she donated twice. So you guys should probably do the same thing. And Donna also, Chiller Theater was a big part of her childhood as well. So she kicked in there. Adrian's very excited here, saying yes. So do that. Ask questions in the chat room, but kick in there right now, and we'll check in periodically to let you know how close we're getting to the goal. Dave, you just let me know whenever we're ready to go to check on those special effects. And in the meantime, I might ask William Butler a question.
Fire when ready.
Okay. I think this might be a question from that might be in your book. Someone throwing some form of a heating source at you.
Boy, you cut right to the chase, didn't you? Yes, I have. When I started directing, I had the good fortune and misfortune of working with a lot of really cool actors. But you know, when some of the films are of a certain budget, you get to work with more interesting characters than you would if, you know, unless it was Terminator. And I directed Tom Sizemore in a movie, and well, it wasn't an easy task, and ultimately he got angry at me and threw a lit butane heater at me in the middle of a scene. And it doesn't sound, no one's laughing now, but trust me, it was hilarious at the time. It was one of the most shocking things I have ever seen. Like, you know,
Is it even possible to direct Tom Sizemore?
For me, it is,
Okay.
and I think that was Tom's problem. You know, by that time I had already worked with the rough and tumbles of Hollywood. So Tom Sizemore was another day at the office, and you know, let's just say I don't think he was in a very good state of mind while we were filming, and he got mad about something and picked up a patio heater and threw it at me. But luckily, the grips. I'm smart enough to ingratiate myself to all the grips and electric, and they sort of formed a human barrier between me and the blazing heater, and I didn't get taken out that time. Not that time, anyway.
All right.
We got some zombie checkups happening.
Well, stick around tonight, folks. More stories like this are going to be coming in. We're checking in with Robert. We got some zombie progress happening right now. All right. We see he's getting zombified. All right. This started with nothing. This was a fresh-faced little zombie at the time, and now it's turning into something better. All right, Robert, keep on working. We are going to check in with you periodically as things go, checking the progress on this zombie makeup. So thanks for what you're doing. Keep on rolling. I think now would be a good time. Mandy says hi, Rob. So anyway, now would be a good time, I think, Randy, to get to that first scene.
Let's do it. I'm gonna let's all stop our video except for Lori and Russ.
Dave will take care of it.
I'll read stage directions, and so you can still hear me, right? Okay.
Hey, Randy, are you also going to read the radio announcer?
Yeah, I am. Yep.
Good deal.
I'm multi-talented.
We certainly know that.
You know that. That's for sure.
All right. Okay, here we go. Stand by. Exterior, country road, evening. A car winds its way along a deserted road. It pulls into a cemetery and comes to a stop. In the car, the driver, Johnny, is a young man in his mid-20s, and in his passenger seat, Barbara is a young woman, his sister. Johnny wears dark-framed eyeglasses, a dark sport coat, shirt, tie, and black driving gloves. The girl is wearing a simple striped dress covered by a simple lightweight raincoat. Johnny shuts off the engine lights and leans back to yawn and stretch his legs.
They ought to make the day the time changes, the first day of the summer.
What?
Well, you know, it's 8 o'clock and it's still light.
A lot of good the extra daylight does us. Now we still got a 3-hour drive back. We're not going to get home until after midnight.
Well, if it really bugged you, Johnny, you wouldn't do it.
You really think I want to blow Sunday on a scene like this? You know, I figured we're either going to have to move Mother out here or move the grave into Pittsburgh.
Oh, she can't make a trip like this.
Oh, I doubt it. She can't. Is there any of that candy left?
No.
Johnny reaches into the back seat and retrieves a styrofoam memorial arrangement in the shape of a cross.
Look at this thing. We still remember. I don't. You know, I don't even remember what the man looks like.
Johnny, it takes you 5 minutes.
Yeah, 5 minutes to put the wreath on the grave and 6 hours to drive back and forth. Mother wants to remember, so we trot 200 miles into the country and she stays at home.
Well, we're here, John, all right?
Barbara gets out of the car. Johnny smirks and turns the knob on the car radio.
Testing. We back on? Ladies and gentlemen,
Hey.
we're coming back on the air after an interruption due to technical problems.
Johnny shrugs and turns off the radio. He exits the vehicle and with the grave decoration and joins Barbara at the berm.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with the radio. It must have been the station.
Barbara walks off into the cemetery, uneasy.
Which row is it in?
They wander through the deserted rows.
Boy, there's no one around.
Well, it's late. You've gotten up earlier.
Oh, look, I already lost an hour of sleep in the time change.
I think you complain just to hear yourself talk. There it is.
They approach the gravesite. Johnny kneels and sets the cross in place at the headstone.
I wonder what happened to the one from last year. Each year we spend good money on these things. We come out here and the one from last year is gone.
Oh, the flowers die and the caretaker or somebody takes them away.
Yeah, a little spit and polish could clean this thing up, sell it next year. Wonder how many times we bought the same one.
Johnny stands and dusts off his hands. Barbara kneels in prayer. Thunder rolls overhead. Lightning flashes. A man wanders in the distance. Johnny, donning a pair of driving gloves, glances up at the sky.
Hey, come on, Barb. Church was this morning, huh?
Barbara ignores him and continues to pray. More thunder.
Hey, I mean, praying's for church, huh? Come on.
Well, I haven't seen you in church lately.
Well, not much sense in my going to church. Do you remember one time when we were small? We were out here. It was from right over there. I jumped out at you from behind a tree, and Grandpa got all excited. He shook his fist at me and he said, "Boy, you've been damned to hell." Remember that? Right over there. Boy, you used to really be scared.
Oh, Johnny.
Hey, you're still afraid.
Stop it now. I mean it.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
Barbara storms off, frightened and angry.
Stop it. You're ignorant.
They're coming for you, Barbara.
Stop it. You're acting like a child.
Johnny lurks behind a large monument.
They're coming for you.
The strange man approaches slowly.
Look, There comes one of them now.
Johnny teases Barbara, grabbing her shoulders from behind.
He'll hear you.
The man draws nearer.
Here he comes now. I'm getting out of here.
Johnny.
The man lumbers closer to Johnny as Johnny runs away. As Barbara approaches the man, he grabs her.
Oh, no, Johnny.
Barbara grapples with the aggressive stranger.
Johnny, help me.
Ta-da!
Yes. And we did it. And the fans love it. They're loving it.
That was amazing.
I'm overwhelmed by the applause.
Yeah,
that was really cool.
That was awesome. I got chills.
Great.
Yeah, I mean, to hear you do it, Russ, to hear those lines come out of your vocal cords, you know?
Yeah.
Really cool.
What's
the 52 years later,
Yeah.
I'm lucky the vocal cords are still working.
Yeah, we all are, right?
What's the accent you used for the grandfather? Do you remember? Was it somebody you knew?
It was. It was actually outside of Night of the Living Dead. Carl Hardman and I were pretty good friends. And Carl Hardman, for those who may or may not remember, was one of the troupe that performed on a radio show in Pittsburgh called Cordick and Company. Reg Cordick was the most popular disc jockey in the country. And Carl and Bob Trow and Sterling Yates and a few other folks had this band of radio performers. And one of the characters that Carl did on that radio program was called Louis the Garbage Man, Louis Adam Kovitz. And that's the way he spoke all the time. It was amazing the trouble that Louis, simple garbage man, could get into. And I just mocked Louis the Garbage Man for the, boy, you've been damned to hell.
Wonderful. You know, it's interesting when you compare this scene to the second scene. They're very similar, except they're going to visit the mother's grave instead of the father's grave.
Right.
And it gets a little deeper psychologically. I mean, it gets the difference between 68 and 90. You know, the bickering is a little more intense. But what I would really love to talk about, and Pat, this is one of the reasons I'm very happy to have you here, is that the interpretation of the role of Barbara was completely different in the second movie than in the first one. After Barbara is traumatized in the first one, she's pretty much catatonic for the rest of the movie. But Pat, you turned into basically an action hero in the middle of this movie. Did you have any input in how your character would be portrayed, or was that in the script when you got it?
George had updated her. When I heard that they were remaking Night of the Living Dead, I thought, why? The first one was so effective. It was so frightening on a new visceral scale I'd never experienced before. I mean, it was devastating. It was so scary. Mm-hmm. But then I read the script, and Tom Savini he knew me at Carnegie Mellon. I was still in school. He knew that I was physical, that I had that side as a, you know, Randy, when you and I were in stage combat classes, and you know, I was the only girl that kept going with them, and it was just a part of who I am. So I think that was part of why he was thinking I would be good for the part.
I did notice your broadsword technique with the poker. Excellent extension and great line on that.
Wow. Well, I mean, talking about, is it okay to keep going about women in the 60s portrayed, you know, how, and Judy was amazing in the original. She's amazing. And that was how women were portrayed. In fact, I think Judy took it to another level than that. Most women were screaming, running around in their underwear, taking a candle or a flickering, not working flashlight down into the basement in the middle of a storm, you know, just doing all the dumb things, or right after having sex, and then they'd get killed and they'd get murdered. She at least was being absolutely real in that, if faced with this unexplainable event going on. She just goes into shock. But what I think that was appropriate for the time. And what I loved about what George was doing was, like Sigourney Weaver was. I guess Terminator had also come out with Terminator 2, so we saw the transformation of Sarah Connor. Was that right? Or T1? It was still Terminator 1, but she actually was a little more involved with the action. So that was starting to change, and I was really excited to be a part of that change. And Lori, you were too. I mean, you did. Yeah.
George wrote a really strong female character. You know, and it was the '80s, and it was right around Alien, except we were the poor ones. You know, the poor.
Well,
but he was a great character there.
And I would add to that Dawn of the Dead. I mean, I think that the female character in Dawn of the Dead was quite strong as well. So that was really.
By the way, from a production standpoint, the job that Patricia Tallman did in the 1990 remake, stepping into a movie that had already started to get some traction to it, and people started paying attention to it, and then in 1990 to step into that role and to absolutely clock it out of the park is not exactly an easy assignment to jump into shoes that somebody else already wore. And Pat did it to it fairly well.
Thank you, Russ. That is so sweet of you.
Yeah, you did a great job. Really good job.
Oh, Patty, terrific.
Oh, thank you. We loved it. What an opportunity. It was an amazing opportunity.
Well, also,
and she was divergent enough that I didn't, only in the beginning scenes where our Judith and I on the same path. And it was after that scene that you guys read where the two barbers really start to shift. They start.
Right. Yeah, and the monologues you had about, you asked me to go, you asked me to do something. Well, I want to do something. The scene where you're nailing up the boards over the window, and the choice to find the old pants and the old boots and transform. That's what was so, I think, attractive about that role, was your transformation from the sort of mousy, docile woman into such a strong. And the characters we love are characters who are different at the beginning, at the end of the movie than they are at the beginning. And you can't be much different than you were from the beginning to the end. It was really terrific.
Thanks.
I have one
CMU training. I don't know.
Well, maybe.
Well, both leads in the movie were classically trained actors. Tony went to school at Trinity Rep. So
right, and so did George. I mean, George went to CMU too. So.
And Dwayne in the original movie was a classical actor as well. He ran a theater company and was an English teacher. I mean, you could tell from his work that and I think the size of horror lends itself really well to people who are classical actors, because Shakespeare, has the same size of emotion in some ways that horror does.
You're right.
Very interesting.
If I can, I would like to tack one little personal footnote onto the end of the scene that we just ran. It was opening night for Night of the Living Dead, October 1st, 1968. And my grandmother, my mother, my family knew that Gary Streiner and I were working on something, but they didn't know exactly what. So we put on this opening night, and just after the scene that we just read, I get into a life and death struggle with Bill Heinzman, who played the cemetery ghoul, and he knocks my glasses off out of the premiere night theater crowd. My grandmother, lovely grandmother, out of the darkness shouts, "Russell, he broke your glasses." Then when I hit my head on the tombstone, my lovely grandmother, she didn't see anything else for the rest of the film. That was it. She cashed in her chips. Russell, he broke your glasses.
Oh my
That's
God.
funny.
Patrick, I think it's time to remind us all
real
what
quick. I want to remind you of one other thing first. I want to remind you of two things. One thing is keep asking questions, everybody watching. We will try to answer as many as we can. One question that came in from Adrian, she says, besides Pat's great book, you should read Tom Savini's book about what else Tom had in store for the remake that he didn't get to do. Now, it just so happens that we have a signed copy of Tom's book, and we are going to be auctioning that off tonight. Okay. Nice. And we're going to be bidding, and the highest bidder in the chat, you just put in what your bid is in the chat room. And then once if you win at the end of the night, you cash it into Act Blue, you send us the receipt, and we will send you a signed copy of that very book. And, you don't even have to just bid on the book. You could just give to the campaign here. Hit the donate button right now. Go to actblue.com/donate/ghouls for good. That's why we're all here tonight. We got a great show in store for you. We got more stuff coming and more stories. And I think we might even have another scene coming up, Randy.
Yeah, we do. But I just want to add this book. It's really an interesting book because Tom had a storyboard artist board out the entire movie, and he had really specific ideas, and a lot of them didn't get in the movie. For instance, he wanted Pat, as you know, your character to be seeing ghosts and hearing voices as you rode into the graveyard. That got cut, and a bunch of other things. But it's really, really an interesting book. Is it time to check on No, it's
what we should do right now is probably see where we are in raising funds. I think we have over 30. I think we have over 33 people have donated so far, and time to go here. Let's check in, Dave. How are we looking? Are we close to turning over a threshold here? Are we at the 50% mark yet, or are we beyond it? Okay. All right. Tell you what, we're
nearly at the 50% mark. Yeah.
We're nearly at the 50% mark. I'm going to tell you right now, I am going to put in a bid for $50 on the book right there. So is that going to bump us? I don't know, but like physically, we might feel like we're over the 50% mark right now because you are guaranteed at least $50. Outbid me, folks. I'm going to the chat room right now. Patricia, you also got a marriage proposal, I think, on the chat tonight.
Wow.
I just
there you go.
I accept it, by the way.
Nice. Terrific. Congratulations.
You know what?
Thank you.
Dave, I want to talk about these theater productions. So if you can bring this up in a minute. There are two companies, one in England and one in San Jose, who are both doing sanctioned productions of Night of the Living Dead.
Ooh, that's cool.
It's the Theatre of Leeds in England, and they're this is it. And they're talking about this is the English one. It's a multimedia thing. If this works, that the first slide is long. So yeah, it's multimedia, and they use all kinds of cameras. You can see this is a reenactment, and they're showing the original and then doing it alongside of it. Kind of like
that's
oh my God!
There you go.
That's really cool.
Absolutely.
We should go.
Let's go.
I'm trying to find and then San Jose Stage is also doing one. They'll be coming up at the end. And if you remember, there was a production of Night of the Living Dead with Squonk Opera here in Pittsburgh at City Theater, I believe, in the 90s that Jed Harris directed. Friend of ours. It's okay. It's the Santa Fe stage, San Jose stage, and they're saying that it is a reimagining of it on stage, and then the British one, as you can see, is extremely interesting and weird.
That's cool, really cool.
Yeah, so
those folks at the Leeds Playhouse did a fantastic job, and it's likely that production is going to, once the COVID business is over, it is likely that it may do some touring, and the comedy show Night of the Living Dead Live out of Toronto, that's also gaining some live theater traction.
Well,
awesome.
I hope there'll be a musical someday on Broadway. It would be Night of the Living Dead !
Yeah.
Or maybe just
the rock
dead.
musical. Yeah.
It's
Russ-
amazing
60s
how
rock musical.
powerful. It's amazing how George is so popular in England. I mean, I've done some shows there, and I just love the British people. I would just so many wonderful.
Same.
Well,
Yeah,
Billy,
right?
I met you in Manchester along with Patty and Lori at a show. Let's call out with Marcus Lewis and the Weekend of the Dead people over there if they're watching. And you've been there too, haven't you, Russ?
I've been there twice.
Yeah.
They're lovely
It's the
people.
best.
Marcus
They-
and Tracy.
They
Fans-
are amazing.
It was really fun. It's really super fun.
people. And the fans that come to the show there are just great.
Yeah,
They have lifelong friends, really, all of them. Like, I love them.
correct. That is so true. They're really awesome. So
Right.
many dedicated Romero fans there. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's the biggest Romero show in Europe, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, very cool.
Russ, did you have any idea 52 years ago or 53 years ago when you were shooting this thing that this thing would still have so much life this many years later?
We didn't really. John Russo claims that he knew of all of it. He knew that it was terrific, but no, other than John, none of us had a clue. It was our first shot at doing a feature film. We had been doing tons of business films and commercials and that kind of thing, but the goal always was to do what we called a real movie, and Night of the Living Dead was our first effort out of the gate, and it worked out pretty well.
Now, I read that early on in development that Night of the Living Dead was a comedy about teenage aliens from outer space. Is that true?
There were a number of iterations. We were just brainstorming a whole lot of what-if kind of scenarios, and I must say that Bill Cardill at the time had his Saturday night show, and we took a great deal of inspiration from what Bill was doing, and we gradually worked our way into, okay, let's try to do something that is traditional horror, but let's push the envelope a little bit. And we did push the envelope, and in some ways we took a lot of crap for it, but here we are, 52 years later, still talking about it.
Right.
Was it the scenes? Go ahead, Patrick.
No, go ahead, Randy.
Was it the scenes where, after the burned bodies, where they were eating the flesh, that bothered people the most? Was that it, or was it? Do you know?
Yes, it was the one for which we took the most criticism, and I mean, we were getting hate mail, and these guys in Pittsburgh, they're satanically inspired, and all we wanted to do was make a movie that we thought would scare people, but
Sure did.
all of a sudden we were Satan worshipers.
Scared the hell out of them.
Yeah. I was about 14, I think. Yeah, I went to the opening night with my dad.
Yeah.
I was terrified. I was so scared. I didn't understand why people like to watch horror movies and be scared, because I was scared in real life. I didn't want to be extra scared. And I spent the whole time in the back of the theater. I kept walking off out of my seat. It was
All right, looks like we're doing a quick check-in on the makeup job there. Robert's doing. He's definitely looking a little bit more zombie.
God.
Look at this little guy. Oh, it's getting there.
Oh,
It's getting there. The contours are happening. All right. We'll be checking in periodically. I can't wait to see the finished product. In the meantime, if you want to bid on the book, just put your bid in the chat in the comments. There is a bid right now. It looks like Casey Shapiro's got $75 on the book. So I've been timed out. It also looks like we've got a new guest with us tonight.
Who could that be?
There he is himself.
It is the Pope of special effects. Tom, welcome.
Thank you. Sorry I'm late.
That's okay. It's great you're here.
Hi, Patty. Hi, Laurie.
Hi,
Hi, Tom.
Hey, Randy.
Hey, it's great to see you.
Oh, what's going on?
This is a Carnegie Mellon reunion, is what.
Yeah, it really is.
Where are you, Tom? Where are you?
In my basement in the house in Pittsburgh.
Oh, okay.
Only a few blocks away from me.
Tony Todd will be right here. We were both in the Shutterfest podcast, and he'll be right along.
Well, your timing is perfect. We were just talking about your book. There is a $75 bid for a copy, and I'm going to bring my copy over to your house and have you sign it so that can get that one.
Anytime.
And that way we can add a little bit extra to this really good cause. Patrick, let's see. I think I want to ask you though, Tom, of all the things that you had wanted to do with the movie with the 90 version that you directed, the book is really a lot about what you wanted to do and what you wound up doing. Is there one thing that still bothers you the most, or is there one thing that you regret you couldn't do?
Well, there's a few things that bothered me. I said to George, I wanted to do a zombie point of view. In other words, a decrepit black and white. If you saw it, you knew it was zombies looking. And George says, well, that would make them seem more alive. And I said, yeah, but they're not tripping over things and walking into walls, they can clearly see. I wanted to do that as to build suspense. In other words, if you have a scene of you and me talking, and we cut to that zombie POV looking at us talking, as soon as you cut back to us, the scare has started. The suspense has started because you knew there were zombies close by. So I didn't get to do that. And it was just a tool because the greatest scares come from suspense. Anybody can jump up and go boo, and that lasts for a couple of seconds. But the suspense scares you can draw out. Not too long if you're smart, and of course the Lolita ending, when I wanted Patty to go up into the attic and Harry is hiding behind a mirror, and it's a two-shot of her in the mirror and him peering out from behind it, and she raises the gun and shoots, and the mirror shatters. Well, that's in the book, but we simply didn't have time. Before we even shot the movie, I had 600 storyboards on the wall, and George came, so I could show the costume, the art director, whoever, the whole movie. So I did that to George, and he said, wow, that's great. You have a 6-week movie up there, and you've got 4 weeks to shoot it. So, yeah, it was about time. It was all about time.
And Tom, you also, not everybody knows this, but no one will be surprised. You're a big fan and practitioner of magic. You're a member of the Magic Castle, a very wonderful club out in Los Angeles. So a lot of what you do is using principles from magic, like misdirection and things like that.
It's magic tricks.
Yeah.
My other book is called Grand Illusions, because I think of these tricks, makeup tricks, as illusions, as magic tricks, And there's a lot of magic involved. Mechanical devices you're not aware of, as you said, misdirection, that's all part of fooling people. I mean, that's what a magician does. He makes you believe that what you're seeing is really happening. Same thing in the movies, We need you to believe that what you're seeing is really happening.
And camera tricks like the crossbow in the face that got cut from Dawn of the Dead, which we did together, where you cut a bolt in half, put a piece of fish line on it, and put it on the guy's, and then you turn the camera upside down. A lot of people don't realize nowadays all you have to do is just hit a button and it reverses.
Right.
But back then you had to turn the entire film camera upside down. Here's your book.
Mm-hmm.
There's Patty. There's Patty and Bill, and they're all in there.
Very cool.
Somebody bid $125 for it.
It's at $125 and counting, folks.
Excellent.
So if you can't swing the $125, you can still kick in a little bit for the campaign. Do it at actblue.com/donate/ghouls for good.
And here's Avery Adair saying, oh my God, that mirror shot would have been so great. Well, it's simply the Peter Sellers, James Mason shot from Lolita. That's where I saw it. He shoots the painting and Peter Sellers falls when you see the hole appear in the figure in the painting. That to me was brilliant. And I just wanted to, it was a homage to that,
Speaking of homages, there's a wonderful homage to the original movie when the daughter kills the mother. and we cut away to a construction implement on the wall. I don't know if any of our, don't anybody say what it is. Can anybody who's on the feed say what that construction implement was that was the homage to the original movie that we cut to? It was blood splattered on the wall. No? Oh, somebody will get it. Anyway, I love those things. And there were a bunch of other things that were like that too. Go ahead.
Well,
Tom.
that scene was going to be shadows on the stairway. The daughter was attacking the mother, and we see them, just their shadows on the wall. And McKee Anderson, the mother, being a mother, helped the child by giving her the trowel. We didn't have time to shoot all that down in that basement that night.
So,
it would have been a scene totally in shadows on the wall.
Ellen Mansueto got it, a trowel. Absolutely. We even have a picture of it somewhere. But
and Victoria did too.
Oh, Victoria!
They both got it right around the same second here.
All right, very good. There it is. There's the trowel.
Oh, and that's the most we could do with the time that we had, was just splash some blood on the trowel up there.
The terrible trowel. Somebody just said.
Oh no!
Yeah, Christian just said on.
That's because he's a Pittsburgher.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's about time to read another scene. What do you think, Patrick?
I think we can go to another scene. I think it's right. We're right on schedule for that. Then we can talk a lot more on the other side of it.
This is an homage of a different type to someone who was in both films, and we're going to have Lori and Russ read the sheriff scene from the original film. So whenever we disappear, we'll give you the screen. We have a little video to play with it too of the actual stuff. David, if we can get that up there, that would be amazing.
I don't know about you, Laurie, but I'm intimidated because we're trying to recreate a scene that no one could replace Bill Cardill.
Aww.
And as a matter of fact, George Costanza, who was a longtime friend of ours, who played the sheriff, Chief McClellan, he was a steel worker. And when we cast him as the sheriff, he just did an excellent job. And the interchange between your father and George Costanza was, well, we all know how memorable it was.
And here we go. Stand by, you guys. You ready? I'll give you an action. Action.
Chief McClellan, how's everything going?
Things aren't going too bad. The men are taking it pretty good. You want to get on the other side of the road over there?
Chief, do you think we'll be able to defeat these things?
Well, we killed about 19 of them today right in this area. Those last 3 we caught trying to claw their way into an abandoned shed. They must have thought somebody was in there. We heard them making all kinds of noise. We came over, beat them off, and blasted them down.
Chief, if I were surrounded by 6 or 8 of these things, would I stand a chance with them?
Well, there's no problem. If you have a gun, you shoot them in the head. That's a sure way to kill them. If you don't, get yourself a club or a torch, beat them or burn them. They go up pretty easy.
Well, Chief McClellan, how long do you think it will take you to get the situation under control?
Well, that's pretty hard to say. We don't know how many of them there are. We know if we find them, we kill them.
Are they slow moving, Chief?
Yeah, they're dead. They're all messed up.
Well, in time, would you say you ought to be able to wrap this up in 24 hours?
Well, we don't really know. We know we'll be into it for most of the night, probably into the early morning. We're working our way toward Willard, and we'll team up there with the National Guard, and over there, then we'll be able to give them a more definite view.
Thank you very much, Chief McClellan. This is Bill Cardill, WIIC TV 11 News.
Hey, Russ, was that line, "They're dead, they're all messed up"? Was that because he forgot the real line and improvised?
Most of George Costanza's lines were ad-libbed.
Oh.
He had the general sense of what George wanted in the tone of this character, and so he got into it to the point that when he started rolling, and Bill was just feeding right off of him. Beat him or burn him. They go up pretty easy.
Hey, the guy with the camera standing there with you guys, wasn't that Vince Servinsky?
No, that was Steve Hutsko.
Okay.
He was actually Bill Cardill's on location camera guy.
Oh, wow.
Right.
Now, Russ, you wound up playing that role in the remake. Can you tell us how that happened?
He was producing. He was the producer.
We had agreed that at some point somebody needed from the original film needed to show up as a little tip of the hat to fans of the original film, and everybody was in on it, and everyone agreed that George Romero should play the sheriff, and he agreed until we got to the day of shooting.
Oh no.
And he got cold feet or something. Said, "Oh no, I don't want to do it. You do it." And they plunked a cowboy hat on me and an eye patch. And
somebody had to drive home to my house to get the
call. It was as the camera pans off of Pat Tallman. There's the interview going on with Bill Cardill and the sheriff, and the only line it's there's, "Yeah, they're dead. They're all messed up."
the line,
Yeah.
Pat, can't hear you.
We have a special guest here with us tonight. He just popped in. Here he is.
Sorry I'm late, guys.
Thank you so much for being here, Tony. It's so great to see you.
It's good to see you folks. I can't see anybody now. I guess you just got me up, but I saw you before. Hi, Patty. How are you?
Hi, honey. I missed you.
I miss you too. William, how are you? Russ?
Good.
I just saw you seconds ago. What's up? What's up, everybody? Who's in the right corner over there?
We're having a good time. We're done with all the scenes, and we're just talking now. So you came at the perfect time.
How did the scenes go, guys?
Fun.
Was it like old times, being back in the house in Washington, D.C.? Boy.
Tony,
Tom,
real quick.
So excited. What's the matter? What you been doing, man?
Tony, real quick. Can you rotate your phone?
Like that, horizontally? Now I'm
it should pop. All right, go back the other way. That's fine.
We're good.
You're good. You're good. You're fine.
We're good, regular.
Pretty good.
It's how you're defying gravity. That's fine. So Tony, I haven't seen you since the '80s, man. When we used to hang out at the West Bank Cafe.
At the West Bank, when I was a bartender there, brother. I was a bartender there, downstairs in the basement with Rand and Rusty
and Lou Black, and I directed a group called Chucklehead, a really weird little comedy group.
Yeah, Chucklehead. Were you guys on Friday nights, Thursday nights?
I think it was about once a month, actually.
Okay.
But yeah, it was an amazing place. I remember one night, just amazing people would come in there.
It was everybody. I remember James Gandolfini used to come in. He was a pretty regular. And he used to always tell me, "Man, I don't know if I'm going to make it. I don't know if there's a right role for me." And I would give him a scotch at Glenlivet and club, and I say, "Just hang in there. We're actors. We don't know when it's going to happen, how it's going to happen. But if you stay true, miracles do occur." So, and look what happened to him.
I walked in there at 11 o'clock one night, and there was some obscure one-act play, and Lou Black walked up to me and said, "Mike Tyson is here," and he was watching a experimental one-act play. It was the weirdest thing I could imagine.
I don't think I was there that night because I'm a fight fan. That's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody came through there, man. That was New York at the time, you know?
It was.
Where are you now, Tony?
I'm in Marina del Rey, California.
Nice.
We're here. Okay, good.
Where?
Yeah, I know that was good. I mean, we're here. We're all here.
Where exactly?
The exact address, so we can come over
I'm
now.
on my way. I'm on my way.
All you Night of the Living Dead fans. I live on 13 Mockingbird Lane, next to the Playa del Rey apartment.
I think, speaking of fans, I think they'd be really disappointed if we didn't ask you about this upcoming Jordan Peele produced remake of Candyman. Is there anything going on with that?
Well, they moved. We got a new release date, August 27th, 21. That tells you the state of the world that we're in. It's our third push. I really wish that it came out in the fourth quarter this year because, you know, there's been very little income elsewhere. So, but we survived, and it's been thank God I had a great 2019. So. But I do miss the Conwell. I do miss seeing, you know, Night of the Living Dead has built such a fan following over the years. And I'm sure all of you know who were in it or involved in it in whatever way. They never stop. They never stop with the VHS copies. It would make me remember that we actually shot it during the Blockbuster era. Back when they were charging, what, $5.99 for a rental? That's why we had such... Oh, that's right. We didn't get residuals for a minute. I forgot.
Nobody
in your department, no?
No.
Who was the crazy what was he? The crazy guy that was hanging out, organizing all those mid-morning pool parties. Was he a line producer? Declan, was it?
Declan.
Do not say his name in this company.
Declan. I remember him.
But, you know, we had, what, 1 day off per week? Working nights. I don't know about everybody else, but by the end of it, I was just mentally exhausted.
Same.
You know, Todd, do you remember when I ran away from the set? Like, I couldn't take lunches anymore with zombies and shit. And I said, I'll be back because I wasn't up in the next scene. So as I'm driving to Pittsburgh, man, I'll be back.
And you and I ripping apart every piece of furniture in that house and putting it back together, then ripping it apart.
And then ripping it apart, finding more boards. And then waiting for our heroine to come to the rescue and save the day.
I remember when we started, I thought, oh, well, they'll certainly have like balsa wood tables and balsa wood door. Yeah.
Those are real doors.
we
and
took
the beautiful thing was the people that lined up to be zombies, and there were hundreds.
They were great.
Everybody wanted to be a zombie in this picture, and it was like, oh,
so many. It was great though. They did great. Really good zombies.
I mean,
the skinny guy that came through the door, I guess, in the scene that you guys recreated. I mean, he was amazing, and
so cool. So cool.
Uncle Regis, you know, the whole thing.
Now, were you? Now,
Bill Mosley.
For the actors, were you guys fans of the original movie before you knew they were making a remake? So you knew already, and so you were lined up and excited for it. Yeah, okay.
And
I saw
even
the
more
original
so,
Drive-In, and Dwayne Jones inspired me.
I was an insane fan of Tom Savini, so I couldn't even believe. You know, I was so intimidated by all of them, but even being in the same room with Savini was jaw-dropping to me.
Well, thank you.
I still feel that way, Tom.
I captured him just from his photograph.
Speaking of fire, there's a moment on the porch, Tony, when you're out there with a torch, waving it around at the zombies, and some of the gel, it looks like, sticks on the side of the house, and you reach over with your bare hand and knock it off to save the
You know why I did that? Because I didn't want to go through the setup. It would have taken another 2 hours to set it up, and I just figured, well, if they buy it, let me just knock it out so we can keep it moving. So we can get William over to the gas station with Katie, and let's go on. I think we had maybe another week and a half left of filming. You know, because we shot pretty much in sequence. But that was a magic moment. And I love that it just occurred. You know, it wasn't planned. It was totally spontaneous. Is what good filmmaking is about.
Yes.
Yeah, that was awesome.
A great moment. Great.
I laugh every time I see that. I was like, "Oh look, he saved us! He saved us 20 minutes. He just saved us 20 minutes of having to put all those
20 minutes, 2 hours, my buddy. 2 damn hours. I know.
So I want to keep us focused. This is fantastic, but what we're here for, Patrick, can we look at our progress on money raising and see how we're doing?
I know we are over the halfway point. Let's just keep it rolling here. I don't know what the bid is for Tom's book. I think the last time I checked, it was $125, and I think where are we right now in as far as raising money here goes? Okay, we're over the halfway point. We can keep things moving right now. All right, so
we need to do better.
We can do better. So we can do this. So everybody that's watching right now, everybody that's
watching. I don't want to
watching.
hear any bullshit from anybody come, the 3rd of November. Oh, I forgot. Oh, is it today? Oh, it'll work itself out. No, folks. Right. If we want these 4 years to continue, do what you need to do.
That's
okay?
right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yes.
I'm sick of it. I don't want to go through another daily nightmare like I've gone through for the past 4 years.
Thank you.
Really? I'd rather make movies out of
my back for Obama. You remember that?
Yeah, right? Ha!
Crazy.
We're totally going to cut that and use it as a PSA on our show every night until the election, just so you know, Todd. So thank you for that.
Did you all see Obama just the other day? It's
what a rip. You know what? Truth comes in power. Okay, power is truth. All he did was speak truth, and he did it passionately. And I mean, anybody with half a mind knows what's going on, what's wrong with our country right now. We are too divided, folks. There's too much hatred in the world. Too much, and it's been let loose. And we need somebody to heal. Okay, so that we can all get back to work, so we can all do our thing, so we can keep making the fans happy. For God's sake.
Yeah.
Well, we don't have to think about
get on top of this pandemic and get some health care back.
Health care. We're talking about eliminating health care, folks. Come on.
Come on.
Kindness. How about kindness?
Take care of each other.
Oh my God. Smiling at each other again.
Mandy says we're living in a horror movie right now, and she's so right. Yeah.
That's absolutely right.
But it isn't over yet. We don't know the ending. So
and do not fall for the polls. That's all bullshit. Go and vote. You cannot stay home like last time. You cannot do it.
No, remember that last time Hillary was up 14 points. She was up 14 points.
At this time, yeah.
And that's why we're here tonight. So if you've already given, thank you. If you want to give again and bump it up, please do. Knock yourself out. Also share this. Tell your friends. No, we're going to be here for a little bit longer. Let's just get this thing rolling here. And also, you can bid on Tom's book. $125 is a steal. So get in there, get a little bit more on it, and keep that rolling.
Just think what you'd spend at a convention. $125 is nothing.
Right.
Nothing.
Hey Russ. Is it true? I heard a story. Is it true that you and Jack Russo went to the offices of Canon Films and sat there and insisted to be paid then and there? And Golem Globus was Menachem Golem was someplace else, and they had to contact him to make him write you a check on the spot.
That is an absolutely true story. It wasn't at Canon. It was 21st Century.
Yeah.
And they put us through so much shit during the production of the remake. We happened to be in Los Angeles for a different reason. And I said and we had some time to kill during the afternoon. I said, Jack, you want to have some fun? He said, doing what? I said, let's go over to Menachem Golan's office and collect what happened was a part of the contract that we all signed. They had the right to withhold our last 10% of our payments. After we delivered the answer print, they weren't paying. So I said, let's go over. And I said, you're going to see a Russ Streiner that you've never seen before. We'll have some laughs. And we went to their office, and they were in a panic. Boxes packed up. They were clearly going out of business.
Whoa.
And that is what happened. And I said, we ain't leaving until we get our money. I knew a couple of people at Hollywood Reporter and Daily Variety, and I wrote their names into my day runner that I had, and I said, I got to clean my language up a little bit here, but it was pretty abrasive in real life. We're not leaving until we get our money. Well, Menachem's in Manhattan. There's nobody here to sign checks. I don't give a F. We're not leaving. If you call the security people to put us out, we will go to the trade papers with the story of how we got screwed on the original film by the original distributor, and you guys are doing it again. And I guarantee you, it's not going to be good for your reputation, nor is it going to do any good. We will queer the Columbia distributing this picture. And son of a gun, we left with the 3 checks for Russo.
Wow.
And George's check. Got a little rough and tumble, but
well, the accountant on Night of the Living Dead, his name escapes me. He said to me, they have no intention of giving you your last check.
Yeah.
But I agreed to do the publicity thing because George couldn't, and my check was FedExed, and I got it the next morning by doing the publicity thing.
Yeah. That's a different style of business back in those days.
Yeah.
I don't think they cared about their reputation. I don't see how you could threaten them with that. They didn't.
That was the first building in Los Angeles that I went into that you had to go through a metal detector to get into the building. Do you remember that, Russ? Yeah.
Didn't they also have armed guards out there?
With machine guns.
With Uzis.
Yep.
Come on.
Israeli machine guns.
Yep. That was the first place that I was like, wow, you have to empty your pockets, and now that's normal. But
Tom, the only reason that threat worked was because they desperately needed to close the deal with Columbia Pictures.
Right. Who bought the film? Who took the film halfway into shooting it? All of a sudden, it was a Columbia picture. Yeah. Anyway, I want to say something about Tony for the fans that are watching this that may not know this. I said this on the earlier show, but Tony, we were done with auditions. Lawrence Fishburne had auditioned for Ben. Eric LaSalle from ER had auditioned for Ben, but I didn't like any of those guys. So
Gary Coleman, don't leave out Gary Coleman.
Gary Coleman, Gary Coleman.
I almost cast him.
Gary Coleman.
But anyway, Tony shows up. We're done, and he shows up, and he jacks me up against the wall and says, "You have to read me." So I handed it.
The story gets richer and deeper every
but
time.
I'm quoting you. I'm quoting you. Anyway, so I give him the script. He goes out in the hallway. He comes back without the script, knows all the lines, and produced tears. I close the book. That's it. We have found Ben, and that's how Tony Todd was.
But you didn't tell me that day. That was a Saturday. I'll never forget. I didn't find out till Monday. But it's all good. I'm just happy to be part of this family. You know,
I decided then and there that it was you. Somebody else. Yeah.
We lived through 6-7 weeks of rest in peace. Tom. Anybody heard from Katie?
No, I haven't heard from her. Yeah, she's busy, but I haven't heard from her.
Yeah,
I know she's doing a theater thing.
How about McKee Anderson? Hey, by the way, we're all going to be in Texas in April.
Right. That's going to be awesome, guys. That's going to make up for this year.
Yeah,
that's right.
But we're all going to be McKee. All of us. McKee Anderson
was at Georgia's Star Ceremony in.
They're going to hold that at Texas Frightmare?
No. This is when George got his Hollywood Star. That was the last time I saw McKee Anderson.
Really? Okay.
Hey, Russ, I have a question for you. In the original Night of the Living Dead, it was called Night of the Flesh Eaters, right? And how did it change names from that to Night of the Living Dead?
We called it Night of the Flesh Eaters, and as publicity started to leak out about these guys in Pittsburgh making this movie. I got a letter, a cease and desist letter from a company called Vulcan Productions that had a film called Flesh Eaters. And we thought, well, we're just coming out of the gate. We don't want to start off with a lawsuit on our hands. So George came up with the idea to call our film The Night of Anubis. Anubis being one of the ancient Egyptian gods of the dead.
Right.
He said nobody will have that. Well, no, but that was the title on the answer print that we went to New York to sell with. And of course, nobody knew anything about Anubis. They said, we like the movie, but we hate the title. And that's when we retitled it Night of the Living Dead.
Oh, that's great. Thank
And
you.
that was the distributor's responsibility to change the title from Night of Anubis to Night of the Living Dead, which they did, except they left our copyright off. So when the prints came in for the October, and it was down to the prints didn't get here, the crappy prints they made didn't show up until the afternoon of the screening, and the film was shown that night without our copyright notice on it, and that gave us 50 years of headaches. The newly restored version now has a full copyright on it, trademarks and everything else. So that has finally, after 50 years, all turned around.
And that's Jim Serenella helped you do that, didn't he?
Look at that person.
We have our zombie makeup game going. There he is, looking good.
Oh, you look tired.
Ooh,
Oh my
I like
God.
the teeth.
that's fantastic.
Wow. Oh my God.
Ooh.
Nice going, Robert.
Oh, it's so creepy.
Great job. Great job.
Thank you.
Hey, I like your shirt.
So listen, since tonight's a tribute, and we just read a scene with Bill Cardill, who passed away just a little bit before George did. I just wanted to take a minute and talk about Bill and George's friendship, since we have Lori here. If we could do that, we have a little video we're going to run while we talk about it. Lori, not only were they good friends, but your dad was kind of helpful in George's career. Is that correct?
Oh yeah, he loved George, and he loved the movie. And when George asked him to do the movie, Dad had a show called Chiller Theater in Pittsburgh.
There's George and your dad right there.
Right. He was like Elvis in those days. Everybody in Pittsburgh knew my dad, and he was one of the first horror hosts in the country, actually. And so George asked him to do this part, and my dad did it. And he would keep plugging it. You know, every time once a movie was made, he would talk about it and plug it and keep talking about it. So he kind of really helped start it. I guess Russ knows too about my dad.
He would have us on his show. One of the ways Night of the Living Dead got its real start was thanks to Bill Cardill and everybody, absolutely everybody in the whole tri-state area around Pittsburgh watched Chiller Theater. It was destination television in those days.
Right. Yeah.
That's where you were every Saturday night. You were there.
Yeah.
Watching Chiller Theater. Yeah.
And Tom, you used to come up to the show, my dad said, right? You used to put makeup on and come on the show a lot.
I used to make up friends as monsters and take them on the show. And then your dad would invite us to his appearances at the Halloween parades, at drive-ins. I would make up monsters and deliver them to your dad.
Oh, God, that's great. That picture of George and me and my dad, that was about a week before my father passed away. George knew my dad was sick, and he came to see my dad, and it was great. Yeah, it was terrific.
A lifelong friendship. It was fantastic.
Long friendship, yeah.
And what a kind man your dad was. Speaking of kindness and changing the culture in the country.
He was a very kind, good man. What you saw was what you got. And there he is with Michael Landon. Yeah. Yeah, there's Dad and I together doing one of the shows, and there's George. And look how tall George is. My dad's 6 foot, so and I'm 5'9", so you get to see George is a giant.
Fantastic.
One of the things that people don't too often talk nowadays about, you talk about raising money. Each year, he was the local NBC host for Jerry Lewis's telethon.
Right.
Thanks to Bill Cardille, he must have, I can't imagine how many millions of dollars.
Millions and millions, yeah.
He raised for disabled kids.
Right. Yeah, and he really took it to heart and loved those kids and would go to their camp. And yeah, it was a wonderful thing.
Lovely guy.
He was a good man, just a good man. I miss him a lot.
Which brings me to the question I want to ask Russ is, how did a movie like Night of the Living Dead get created during 1967, which was the summer of love?
Vietnam.
Circumstance. The company that really started Night of the Living Dead was called Latent Image, which is the production company that George and I had to make business films, TV commercials, that sort of thing. And in the late summer of 1966, we were hired by the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania to do a series of travel films about the changing fall foliage. We shot it in 67 to be released in 66, to be released in 67. Part of the requirements of that commission, they wanted to film in 35 millimeter CinemaScope. So that project bought us our first 35 millimeter camera. We rented an anamorphic lens. We shot in 66 and delivered a beautiful package of tourist development films to the Commonwealth in 1967. But now, not only did we deliver the package, we've now got a 35 millimeter film camera, which is all we needed to do, all the missing ingredient of equipment that we needed to shoot our own real movie. And that's exactly what we did.
Hey, Russ, Rick Catazone's on the phone for you. He wants to...
Patrick, maybe we should take a few questions. Do we have it?
Yeah, let's see if we can
figure out a channel for Rick Catazone to kick in some money. Rick Catazone and I have a love-hate relationship, political love-hate relationship. He is a huge Trump supporter. And he and I go head-to-head almost daily.
Where's the love?
So are we... Randy, do we have questions from people?
Yeah, we do have questions. There was a question earlier that I wanted to bring up. This is a two-part question. I think I might have added the second part. What's your favorite on-screen kill in the 68 or the 90? And I could even branch that out, any movie.
Wow. Russ, are you talking to me?
This is for everybody.
Oh, okay. The favorite kill in the 68 version, Jack Russo died pretty nice.
Yeah.
We kind of did that to the farmer zombie that walks into the farmhouse in our version with the crowbar in the forehead.
Oh, that's my favorite.
Is it? Yeah.
Tony.
With the retractable crowbar.
Kitchen, right?
Yeah. Well,
yeah, I love that.
That was gnarly.
First, you whack them in the face with a frying pan.
With a frying pan, but that's when you got to put food in it.
Right. That was good.
Billy, I think you're muted.
Of our relationship, Patty.
You saved me. I love you forever.
I didn't go
Here's one for you, Russ.
too much in the 68 version.
Is there any talk of a reboot in the form of a TV series, Russ? I guess Walking Dead kind of...
There's always talk. Everybody on the screen right now knows that there's always something in the works, 95% of which fall by the wayside. But we'll see.
Where
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh no, go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, they have a TV show on Sci-Fi that's coming out, a Day of the Dead.
Yeah.
TV show, but it's nothing to do with Day of the Dead.
Well, you've got The Walking Dead, you got Fear of the Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Now there's like 4 spin-offs.
It's the new Law and Order.
Yeah.
It's funny, you know. I read an interview recently with George from 2016, and he was asked if he could make that movie then, and he said, "No way could you make it." He said, Dennis Hopper's cigar budget in Land of the Dead was more than the entire budget of Night of the Living Dead.
Wow.
There it is.
Wow.
Real quick, I want to get into. There's a couple more questions I want to get to. I want to talk about a couple of things, but I would be remiss if we didn't run a little video that we have about the guys that put the music together for tonight, which we haven't given them enough shine. We have a small video from Zombie, the band.
All right.
So. Just wanted to let you guys know that the amazing, haunting soundtrack that you were listening to tonight is provided from the band Zombie, Z-O-M-B-I. Wanted to take a minute to acknowledge them. They are progressive, synth-driven soundtrack masters. This is a duo from Pittsburgh with Pittsburgh DNA running through their veins. Now, Evans City is the title of the original album they recorded for tonight's event. You can check it out now. It's available on Bandcamp. Go to zombie.bandcamp.com/album/Evan-City. Get on it. Let this be the soundtrack to your Halloween.
All right. Any more questions from the fans out there?
Definitely. I'm digging through here right now. We've been at this for a while. We got into the thick of things. Tough story, better than things. Blah 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 blah. Talk amongst yourselves and tell people to donate while I dig up a good question.
Yeah, you know, we're still trying to hit our goal. So please, anybody else who wants to jump in here and get people to donate, please. Billy,
you also got a proposal as well.
Yeah.
Good deal.
Oh, you're muted, sweetie.
Billy, you're muted. The mute button. Billy, there we go. Just hit that one.
Down below at the very bottom of your screen, do you see it? The little icons at the very bottom.
The microphones.
There's a microphone, camera.
In the meantime, that music was beautiful, wasn't it?
The music was awesome. It was chilling.
I love it. Yeah.
There's 6 great tracks on their Bandcamp. So and they put together a whole album for this, and they whipped it together in like no time at all.
Oh,
here's a question.
Go ahead.
You know, if people would share, if you guys would share with your friends right now on social media, and just ask them to chip in $5, you know, you could help flip Pennsylvania. So share this right now with your friends on social media and ask them to chip in $5.
Please do, because I don't think I'm going to survive another 4 years. I'll be dead. I'll be dead.
Yeah, we want to stay positive and let's just envision ourselves celebrating in November and
Is my microphone working now?
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
I know what I wanted to say. My favorite kill in the 1990 version was when we vaporized Earl Ellis's head, his gelatin head off the back of the truck.
Oh yeah.
We shot him with a shotgun, and it was supposed to just kind of mangle his head, but instead, when we shot it, it just disappeared.
And for the fans out there, that was me with a double barrel shotgun blowing his head off.
Oh my God.
Here's a
That
question.
was a real shotgun.
Yeah.
No kidding.
Magnum pellets.
Wow.
That was a great zombie.
I guess this is for Russ. Did Reader's Digest and Robert Ebert help or hurt the film? The original.
It was early on one of the worst reviews ever, and it was written from the perspective of a kid maybe a 10 or 12-year-old kid going to a Saturday matinee. We'll come up with it was published in Reader's Digest, and it was a terrible, terrible review. And the follow-up to that is when he and James Siskel did a show at the movie. Some years later, they called and asked permission to Night of the Living Dead be one of the 3 films that they reviewed in their premiere show. And of course, we said yes. And of course, by that time, everyone had just been made up.
Couple questions here. Did the 68 version get screened for the 1990 cast as preparation?
No.
Okay, and okay, where did the word zombie come from?
Yeah, because they were ghouls in the original.
I think it's really more from ghouls. People didn't understand ghouls or whatever. It just slowly worked into zombie and zombie stuff.
Cool. Nice.
Avery Adair has a question here.
Go for it. This question for Pat. Did they decide to cut your hair to give Barbara an edge, or did you already have the short haircut?
I had the short hair, but I do remember going to the set, and I have been sick for a couple weeks, and Tom looked at me and he goes, "Patty, you're supposed to be one of the living." I lost a lot of weight. I got really gaunt.
That's good.
One of the things that will get us back to what we're here for is, George, these movies were not just purely entertainment. They all had messages. And the original, George said, was about people, and the remake was about people not being able to communicate and arguing with each other in ways that kept them from solving problems, which is kind of perfect for what's going on today and how divided we are. I mean, Dawn of the Dead was about consumerism and capitalism and the consumer culture, but these movies are so specific, I think, to what's going on now, and I think that in that vein, I think everybody should call up, should go online and give us another $20. So, did Tony use anything from Ben as an inspiration for Candyman? That is the question.
No. Two different roles, other than learning my lines. Two different things, but both of them permanently put me in the horror film genre, which I appreciate, as long as I can do other stuff too.
Well, here's something that people might not know about Tony in Candyman is the bee scene when he had bees in his mouth and on his face. Mm-hmm. The deal with between him and the producers was, I get $1,000 for every bee sting, and Tony got stung 27 times.
Yeah, this is true. But in the new one, unfortunately, they have new computer visuals for that, so there's no live bees on set, which is a shame because as you know, Tom, practicals are the way to go. So,
it's right. When it's happening right in front of you.
When it's happening right in front of you, the actor feels it,
Yeah.
But guys, I love you all. Vote. I'm going to put it on social media. I got to drop out because I got an early thing in the morning. I love you all tremendously.
Thank you so much.
Into the horror community. I'll never forget all of you, each and every one.
Thank you, Tony.
Hi, Tony.
God bless you guys. And vote November 3rd. I'm going to leave the country. I swear to God.
I know. I'm with you.
Thank you, Tony.
Okay. God bless you guys.
Bye, Tony.
Take care.
Yeah.
Cannot lose Tony Todd. He has to stay here. So anyway, let's check in. Has any movement happened? I think Tom's book was up to 175. Is it up to 175?
Yeah.
Do we get to 200? I don't know. Do we get to 200? You know what? Let's get to 200. I'm tell you what.
Yeah.
Hold on a second here. All right, I'm on it. 200. I'm putting in 200. I'm bidding $200 for the book right now.
Have to outbid Patrick.
You better outbid Patrick, because Anyway, I can. No, I'm just kidding. No, but seriously, I'm on at 200 from me. Tom, Tom, okay, I'm going to say something. I lived across the street from you for like 6 years, Tom. I don't know if you remember this, but it was probably one of the coolest things in the world, because you'd be laying abed asleep and then you would hear something that sounded like a gunshot, and you would go outside and it was Tom with a 20-foot bullwhip.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Just breaking the sound barrier on a daily practicing.
Yeah, practicing in front of the house. Doesn't everybody do that?
The row houses. I mean, the houses are on top of each other. I would throw a party and people would complain, but Tom could go out and crack a bullwhip at all hours of the day, and everything was fine.
Right now, there was a 12-foot skeleton in front of my house. It looks at you when you walk by.
Nice.
Are you hearing this echo that's going on?
I'm trying to figure out who it's coming from here. Dave, do you know?
It's Dave.
Well,
it's not Dave. Dave. Zombie Dave. Is it? Do we know whose sound? Do we know who's?
It's okay now. It's okay now.
Since it's nearly 10, and we have a kind of a hard out at 10, I think that we should start to wrap it up and thank our guests. But this has been a really wonderful evening. And Patrick?
But even though we are not at the goal right now, we are a few $100s short, but it will stay live for a couple of days here right now. So you can share this thing, because you got to add $210 because I got outbid for the book. So you add that. So we're just around $500 short of our goal. So if you can keep on sharing this, tell your friends after it's over, have people watch it later, because people can keep giving throughout the weekend, so we can get the money while it counts.
Casey Shapiro just bid $210 on the book.
Fantastic.
Casey, you're too rich for my blood, Casey, but I thank you for what you're doing there. All right, everybody's sending thanks. Everybody's having a blast here tonight, so thank you all very much. Anything parting? Any stories you want to add? Anything you want to tell before we wind this thing up for the night? I know everybody's probably done about 6 of these today.
I just want to say a particular thank you to all of you who work in this industry, because this is your busiest time of the year, and you are all slammed. And to take time to help us is really kind of you. So thank you from the bottom of our hearts. It's all of you. Thank you.
It's really wonderful what you're doing, you guys, that you put this together. I know this is really hard, because that's what I'm doing now. And it's hard, but you did it, and you're doing it for the good of everybody. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for inviting me, and certainly thank you to Tom and Russ for including me in something that completely changed the trajectory of my entire life. Night of the Living Dead is the gift that keeps on giving. I can't even tell you. Every year there's an anniversary. There's But Billy, I'm always going to be that guy, and I thank you both so much.
Billy, real quick, you've been killed by who's killed you on screen? I mean, like some iconic.
Jason, Leatherface. I was on the Nightmare on Elm Street TV series. The zombies, the ghoulies. The only one that didn't get me was Michael Myers, and I guess I haven't been put to pasture yet. So there's hope. One could hope.
How did you die in Army of Darkness?
Oh, I wasn't in Army of Darkness. I worked with Greg on helping him do the skeletons. We did the skeleton puppets.
Right. Okay.
That's right.
I died a few times.
Yep.
On that.
I remember you in the pit.
Army of Darkness. Yeah, no, I was the Cauldron Witch.
Yep, I remember you.
And in the Army.
Was that before we did this or after? Before.
After.
After, yeah.
It
was incredible.
Also, thank you all for keeping my dad's memory alive.
Chili Billy.
Chili Billy.
He was definitely present here tonight.
Yeah, thank you.
Good to see you, Lori.
And Russ, thank you and your partners at Image 10 for your help and for giving us permission to use the trademark title and for encouraging us. Really, really appreciate it. And of course, to lend yourself to this event.
Well, we welcome the opportunity. We're pleased that something that we did a long time ago has some evergreen power, and it's helped to move the pop culture knob just a little bit. But I also want to point out to those who are tuned in about the work that the Pittsburgh Film Office has done over the last 30 years. I am particularly proud of Don Keyser and the team at Pittsburgh Film Office. And not too many people know that over the last 30 years, we are now approaching about $1.5 billion worth of movie production work in Pittsburgh. It's helped to grow a really robust community. There's probably 450 people making their full-time living making movies in Pittsburgh. And Night of the Living Dead was the movie that kind of got that all started. And I'm immensely proud of that track record. And some of the films from Silence of the Lambs to Dark Knight Rises to just the filmography is just incredible. And we have very, very good repeat customers, including Netflix is a very strong repeat customer. It keeps coming back to Pittsburgh. Now, if we can just get over this COVID thing, which has knocked the crap out of the entire industry, we'll be well on our way to building an even bigger movie industry in Pittsburgh.
Here.
Really appreciate it.
Yeah, you're terrific, Russ.
Two quick questions for Tom. One, have you ever thought about making masks with all the COVID things happening right now?
Are you kidding?
Yeah.
You don't know about the COVID-19 masks we're making?
Are you making COVID-19 masks, Tom? Tell us about it.
You don't know about that? Oh my God!
It's a comment. Go for it.
Watch this. Okay, here we go. I'm pulling it up now. All right. Here's the zombie COVID-19 masks. Wait, let me get it for you right there.
What's the website, Tommy? What's the website for that?
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
Here's the skeletons. I don't know how well you're seeing this.
I'm seeing them. Go in reverse. There you go. Is that like a Hannibal Lecter there?
Is that on your Instagram or something?
Jason?
No, it's let's see. It's Jason. It's Jason Cartman Baker. Colossum. You order them. He's the guy. My assistant is the guy that's manufacturing these and mailing them out and selling them. But they're all over Instagram. So if you want to go there, you'll see ads for it. Colossum is the company. Colossum Studios.
Oh, cool. That's awesome. I'm glad. Good question.
There they are. See them? Yeah, there they go.
Whoever asked that, thank you. You hit the jackpot.
Yeah.
One other question here that came in earlier. Is there any effect that you haven't been able to produce yet that you want, like a dream effect? Tom, that can go for you. Billy, I know you could chime in on that too.
I think we've done it. I mean,
really,
somewhere along the line in 64 films, yeah, we've done it. And the thing about our stuff is it's happening right in front of you. Rick Baker's werewolf transformation, no CGI, it happened right in front of you. All my stuff happened right in front of you. So is there something that I want to do but didn't get to do? Maybe explode a president.
Here we go.
Do you have any particular president in mind?
I cannot say. We might be the camera. You got to watch out these cameras.
Yeah.
Well, the show might get shut down. But go ahead.
I would also say more physical effects in general, just more monsters that are monster suits. I was just at Nicotero's shop a couple days ago, and I can't believe the incredible aliens that they made for that TV series, NBC comedy TV series that takes place in space. I mean, these things are 12 feet tall, guys in suits. And
what's it called?
For me, I'd like to see more of that because they really are good at doing that stuff. You don't always have to use CGI.
What's it called? What's the show called?
The Nelville or something. It's a science fiction show by the guy that did Family Guy.
Oh, the Orville.
Yeah, the Orville. Yeah. Really cool.
I know.
Yeah.
They're doing incredible
aliens.
Yeah, incredible. Very incredible. Yeah.
That shot is amazing.
Did we already check out with the makeup? Are we done with that? Because we should thank Robert, definitely.
Robert from the Tom Savini School. We actually had 3 or 4 people that wanted to sign up for your school in the comments there, Tom.
Excellent,
as well.
excellent.
Tom, you should come back on the show sometime. Just talk about masks in your school.
Well, it's our 20-year anniversary right now with the school.
All right, amazing. I can't believe that. That's awesome.
Thank you, Robert.
Randy and Pete, one final thing that I want to say too, since
Please.
It's a tribute show, a special mention of the George A. Romero Foundation.
Yes.
They're doing some absolutely wonderful work. This public health issue has created problems for everyone, but they are doing an absolutely sensational job of keeping the memory and the work alive, George's work alive in the minds of young people.
Oh, wow.
There you go.
There
you go. Tom's got a tattoo. But
I'm also wearing his watch. His wife, when George passed away, Susan gave me his watch.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Amazing.
Well, you guys have been amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Check in. Everybody that's watching this, listening now, you can listen to the podcast version. You can share this on YouTube, on Facebook, and every other place in the world. Keep it rolling for the next couple of days. Don't forget to vote. Also, I mean, COVID is still a thing. Keep wearing a mask. Wearing a mask isn't political. Tom's making some kick-ass masks. Everyone should get in on those right now. Keep social distancing. Keep washing your hands, and keep taking care of each other. Thank you all so much for being here tonight.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
I can't thank you enough.
Bye. It's nice to see everyone.
All right, and remember, vote November 3rd. Bye, everybody. Thank you all.
Vote.
Patty. See.
When I was young, I joined a circus. I come up with freaks, it's true. While I saw the nation, I only dreamed of kissing you. Hey, Mandy. What are you doing here? You okay? Hey, what are you doing? Dude, you don't look so good. What is that on your face? What?
Possum!
What are you doing? Hell. What the hell? You don't... You eating hot dogs? You got ketchup on your face. Hey! What? Give me a kiss! Ah!